Welcome to Ochenta Stories, recorded in bedrooms, living rooms, closets, and balconies in quarantine around the world. In each short standalone piece, artists, writers, creators, podcasters, and more answer the question, what do you want to hear when this pandemic is over? I'm your host this week, Chiara Santella. Before we begin, we wanted to share some news with you.
Hi, I'm Lori Martinez, founder of Studio Ochenta and executive producer of Mija Podcast. Jumping into your feed here to share some big news. At Studio Ochenta, we're all about raising voices across cultures and telling stories from diverse perspectives around the world. That's why I'm excited to share our latest production with our listeners, Mija Podcast Season 3. An audio drama that tells the story of one Muslim Egyptian family's journey from Alexandria to London and New York. You can listen to Mija Podcast in English, Spanish, or Arabic versions over at ochentastudio.com/Mija Podcasts.
And now, on with the show. During 2020, schools closed and kids and teenagers needed to adapt. This week's episode is about a relationship between a mentor and a young woman living her last school year from home. This story celebrates the beauty of learning through the power of exchange. The story, originally produced in English, has been translated into Spanish, and you can hear that version later on in the episode. And now, with no further ado, The Mentor by Clare Wiley.
Hi.
Hi. Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah?
I'm okay. We have a yearbook deadline again tonight.
I have never met Sophia in real life. But since the start of the pandemic, we have been talking over Zoom every Friday. I am Sophia's mentor. I give her writing prompts to spark her imagination. And then we write together. Sometimes all you can hear is the scratch of pens on paper, both of us deep in concentration. We write poetry, songs, essays, screenplays, conjuring entire worlds on the page. Sophia is 18, and she's living out her last year of high school from her bedroom. In the background of her video chat window, I can see vinyl records of her favourite bands, The Smiths, The Cure, and fairy lights decorating her bright blue bedroom walls. Like so many of us, everything in Sophia's life was stripped away by COVID. Classes, birthdays, a social life, now all confined to a screen.
Let us be kids! We cried at the thought of losing our childhoods to computers and the countless checkboxes of days that never let up. We can be kids, we agreed, planting ourselves in front of the TV, laughing foolishly at the places we can never see and the children we will never be again.
Sophia and I met through a mentoring program here in Los Angeles called Write Girl. It's an organization that matches professional female writers with at-risk teen girls to build their confidence.
Mr. President, Dr. Biden,
Amanda Gorman,
Madam
the incredible
Vice
poet and
President,
activist
Mr.
who read at President
President,
Biden's inauguration, was
Americans
actually mentored
and
through Write
the
Girl.
world.
As mentors, we are taught to always stay positive, to leave our own worries at the door. At times, that's been a challenge during the loneliness and anxiety of the past year. Through the pandemic, Sophia and I write. We write through the first wave of lockdowns, the toilet roll shortages, the rising case numbers. We write through the racial reckoning, the US election, the attacks on Washington, D.C. Sophia celebrates her 18th birthday. She takes exams, applies for college. We thought the Zoom migration wouldn't last, but of course it stretches through her whole senior year, taking with it the prospect of any in-person parties, the thrill of senior prom, maybe even her graduation.
Patience, a virtue that always seemed so unattainable for me. smashed hand in a cabinet spilled milk on the floor. Slow down. You'll hurt yourself. And when the clock stopped, I slowed. Flower fields, bicycle wheels, and the way our birch tree looks in the rain. Patience.
With the pressure of school and the fear of this virus, it would be understandable for Sophia to feel despondent or furious or sad or some mix of it all. And she has felt that. But more often than not, when I see her cheerful face appear on my screen, she has a steady optimism. And she writes this raw, vivid poetry, off the cuff, that often leaves me speechless. As the seasons pass and the months blend into one another, it becomes less clear who is mentoring who. It is not lost on me that Sophia's name means wisdom. She has a resilience and determination well beyond her years. I am Sophia's mentor, but I have learned as much from her as she has from me. In a time of confusion and despair, Sophia has given me hope.
I'll be 18 in 2 weeks. 11th hour, point of no return, blue. Georgia went blue. Breathlessly American, crying in front of the washer at 1:32 in the morning because you've never felt so proud, so grown. And when they ask for more, you deliver. Give, take a break, just so you can give some more. But you don't mind. You don't mind. Being so dependable, one step closer to 40-hour work weeks balanced on wanting to make a change. Not yet 18, not yet blue, not yet done, only just the beginning. Only just learning what's waiting for me.
The Mentor by Clare Wiley, in Spanish.
Hi.
Hi. Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah?
I'm okay. We have a yearbook deadline event.
Nunca he conocido a Sofía en la vida real, pero desde el comienzo de la pandemia hemos hablado por Zoom todos los viernes. Soy la mentora de Sofía, le doy pistas de escritura para despertar su imaginación y luego escribimos juntas. A veces lo único que se oye es el rasguño de los bolígrafos sobre el papel, ambas muy concentradas. Escribimos poesía, canciones, ensayos, guiones, conjurando mundos enteros en la página. Sofía tiene 18 años. Está terminando su último año de estudios desde su habitación. En el fondo de su ventana de videochat puedo ver discos de vinilo de sus grupos favoritos, The Smiths, The Cure, y luces de hadas decorando las paredes de su habitación de color azul brillante. Como a muchos de nosotros, la pandemia le cambió su vida social, clases, cumpleaños, fiestas. Ahora todo está confinado a una pantalla.
Let us be kids! We cried at the thought of losing our childhoods to computers and the countless checkboxes of days that never let up. We can be kids, we agreed, planting ourselves in front of the TV, laughing foolishly at the places we can never see and the children we will never be again.
Sofía y yo nos conocimos en un programa de tutoría aquí, en Los Ángeles, llamado White Girl. Se trata de una organización que pone en contacto a escritoras profesionales con chicas adolescentes en situación de riesgo para que adquieran confianza.
Mr. President, Dr. Biden,
Amanda Gorman, la increíble poetisa y activista que leyó en la toma de posesión del presidente Biden, fue instruida por White Girl. Como mentoras, se nos enseña a ser siempre positivas, a dejar nuestras propias preocupaciones en la puerta. A veces, eso ha sido un reto durante la soledad y la ansiedad del año pasado. Durante la pandemia, Sofía y yo nos escribimos durante la primera oleada de encierro, la escasez de rollos de papel higiénico y el aumento del número de casos. Escribimos durante la revolución de George Floyd, las elecciones estadounidenses y los ataques en Washington, D.C. Sofía celebra su cumpleaños número 18. Pasa sus exámenes y se presenta a la universidad. Pensamos que la migración del Zoom no duraría, pero por supuesto, se extiende durante todo su último año, llevándose consigo la perspectiva de cualquier fiesta en persona, la emoción del baile de graduación, tal vez incluso su graduación.
Patience, a virtue that always seemed so unattainable for me. Smashed hand in cabinet, spilled milk on the floor, slow down. You'll hurt yourself. And when the clock stopped, I slowed. Flower fields, bicycle wheels, and the way our birch tree looks in the rain. Patience.
Con la presión de la escuela y el miedo a este virus, sería comprensible que Sofía se sintiera abatida, o furiosa, o triste, o alguna mezcla de todo ello. Y lo he sentido. Pero la mayoría de las veces cuando veo su rostro alegre aparecerse en mi pantalla, tiene un optimismo constante. Escribe una poesía cruda y vívida, sin rodeos, que a menudo me deja sin palabras. A medida que pasan las estaciones y los meses se mezclan unos con otros, resulta menos claro quién es mentor de quién. No se me escapa que el nombre de Sofía significa sabiduría. Tiene una resistencia y una determinación muy superiores a su edad. Yo soy la mentora de Sofía, pero he aprendido tanto de ella como ella de mí. En una época de confusión y desesperación, Sofía me ha dado esperanza.
Cumplirás 18 años en 2 semanas. A la 1 de la mañana en punto, hora de no retorno emocional, ves que Georgia se coloreó en un azul de democracia. Te sientes americana sin falla, llorando frente a la lavadora a las 1:32 de la mañana, porque nunca te has sentido tan orgullosa ni tan adulta. En este mundo te pedirán más y das, y te tomas un descanso solo para poder dar un poco más. Pero no te importa tomar un paso más cerca de las 40 horas semanales de trabajo. Y aunque todavía no tienes los 18 años, todavía no te sientes totalmente feliz ni totalmente ti misma, es solo el comienzo. Apenas vas aprendiendo lo que te espera.
Thank you for listening to Ochenta Stories. This story was written by Clare Wiley. Clare is a journalist and audio producer from Northern Ireland based in Los Angeles. She covers culture and social issues with reporting in The Guardian, Vice, Al Jazeera, and others. Sophia Moore is an 18-year-old writer based in Southern California. She's an avid journalist and personal essayist, covering politics, music, and more for Lithium magazine and Affinity magazine at Current. The Spanish version of the story was voiced by Camila Montoya and Lisha Lopez, and the sound design of the piece was made by me, Chiara Santella. If you like what you heard, leave us a review on Apple Podcast in whatever language you choose. Follow us over at Ochenta Podcast on Twitter and Instagram for updates. You can find transcripts and learn more about the project over at ochentastudio.com/ochentastories. If you're enjoying our show, we recommend listening to How to Talk to Mommy and Papi About Anything, a weekly podcast for adult children of immigrants, featuring real-life scenarios and practical professional advice to help them with difficult but necessary conversations. Popular topics include raising children, money, toxic relatives, coming out, religion, and systematic racism. no subject is off limits. How to talk to mommy and papi about anything comes at a time when immigrants and their